All right. Now to the trade we've all been waiting for. Jaylen Brown, who we talked about a little bit. We talked about the Giannis trade as a guy who could potentially be on the move in the coming weeks. Well, that in fact was true. And he went to our Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for podcast Paul George, a 2028 first round pick swap, 2031 first round pick, and two second round picks. So the Sixers get 3 years and $183 million worth of Jaylen Brown with the possibility of a 2 year extension in exchange for Paul George's two remaining years and a couple of picks that, in my opinion, I could care less about. So, gentlemen, we are going to be very biased here. So give us our flowers here. Dwayne, talk to me about this trade.
Man, we done fleeced the Celtics. Boy, I kid you not. I kid you not. I was on my iPad and I was just watching some YouTube, right? Then all of a sudden, my dad FaceTimes me. He never does that. And he was like, "Hey, we just got Jaylen Brown." I said, "You lying." He showed me his phone. I said, "What's the source?" He showed me the page. It said Shams. I couldn't believe it. I knew I lost. I was yelling throughout the entire house. I couldn't believe it. Because what sense does that make for the Celtics? And okay, this adds on to something that I've been thinking. The Celtics are making another move. They have to, because it makes no sense to pick up Paul George for your finals MVP and not have a plan afterwards. There's just no way. If you're trying to prove that Jason Tatum is this great big guy, you don't need to prove it. We know Jason Tatum's good. Trust me. But trying to throw him in such this type of situation when you get Paul George is just not good. And then Lord knows for my Sixers, I am dumbfounded because I don't know the last time a GM has done something so good. Like it blows my mind. Last thing, like even though VJ Edgecombe was a great addition, not saying that that's nothing, but trade wise, when is the last time the Sixers have done something good trade wise? Like it's been a minute, like since Jimmy Butler. Like he was Jimmy a trade, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that like think how long
that's
that's
why
been.
their last good trade.
Exactly. So I'm astounded. Like this is awesome. Um, obviously I'm extremely biased. My only concern with the team would be 3 point shooting and spacing, because we know Jaylen Brown is a good 3 point shooter. I would just like a because I don't want Joe to be a stretch as big as a stretch five as we think Joe might be sometimes. Like, hear me out. Joe's a good 3 point shooter, but I still like him in the mid range. You know what I'm saying? So keep him there. I would like, I know Dean Wade was a signing as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good stretch forward. Still would like a little bit better of a shooter, though. Still, just a little bit. But that's manageable when you have Jaylen Brown, VJ Esco, Maxi, and Joel. That's manageable. We can figure that out, you know. But hey, what if VJ takes a jumping pad and just starts shooting the three ball well? You know, heavens above, let it happen. And then who's going to have the ball in their hands primarily? That those two are my only concerns: shooting and who's going to have the ball in their hands primarily. I would say Maxi still to just start off an offense, but I'm unsure because if you don't do Maxi and you do um, Jaylen Brown, we know Maxi's not necessarily the greatest catch and shoot. He's better off the dribble. So you kind of run into that issue where do you risk taking away some of Maxi's best abilities for Jaylen Brown? But yet again, that's manageable. You know, that's something we can figure out, not something that's impending doom, which we've had for the last like
They're
3 years.
good questions to have. Good
Yes,
problems to run into.
yes.
I'm
Manny,
gonna
how you
start this off
feeling?
on the Sixers side. I'm gonna start off calm and smooth and all that. I gotta give them an A plus. You move on from the supposedly unmovable Paul George contract. You don't have to give up BJ or Maxey like the Celtics originally wanted. You don't even get the Clippers first round pick that we have for 2031. So gotta give an A plus for the Sixers. We do all that. We scam, we steal, we hate the Celtics. That's what we do. Let me go on Boston right quick. Congratulations, Boston. You made a worse move than LA and that Walker Kessler deal. You stupid, brainless, gutless screw ups have managed to make one of the stupidest moves of the decade. Not only does this not make you a contender, it significantly drops you off to maybe not even a playoff team in the East. You don't even get the valuable picks that we had. But now you two have an aging, slightly less available Paul George for another 2 years because I expect him not to turn down that 50 million plus player option. But as Sixers fans, we thank you because we hate y'all. We knocked y'all out the playoffs, and now you're going to see us win a championship this year. We're going to go up north to New York. We're going to burn down that city because they can't even do that right. Then we're going to travel through Philly, burn down our city, and then go deeper down south. We're going to go to Boston, drink y'all out, take all the pubs over, make sure y'all have no alcohol to drink like the Scots, and then we burning down your city. And leaving a big picture of Jaylen Brown and wherever the biggest place is in Boston because y'all have the dumbest GM ever for letting us have this trade for a bag of chips and Paul George. But we thank you.
Hold on. Let me tear into the Celtics real quick because this is pissing me off. And don't hear me out. I don't like the Celtics, but I also like good competition. You know what I'm saying? What are y'all doing, bro? Like it just like I don't get it. This is what I'm saying. It has to be another move. There has to, because there's no way this is. It rivals on how stupid Nico was when he traded Luca. It's getting close, because without an additional trade, this is unbelievable.
It's just who is the other trade? Like
I'm gonna
nobody
tell you.
That's what I'm
I'm gonna
thinking.
tell you right now. There is no other move.
That
I'm gonna
has
tell you
to.
why. Okay, look, they they were gonna give up him for Giannis, right?
Right.
And they decided no because Hugo Gonzalez is the second coming of Christ. So that's the first problem there, right? There is clearly much division between Jaylen Brown and the ownership, potentially the locker room. I don't like to speak on relationships in clubhouses and stuff without knowing, right? A lot of times the media likes to assume that there's problems between players. I'm not going to say that him and Jason Tatum were button heads. I'm not going to say anything without me knowing. But we know there's been a trend, Jaylen Brown getting disrespected by both the media and the Celtics organization. Okay. Because what are the talking points? This guy was your finals MVP, and yet that's all talked about as Jason Tatum getting his ring. This is Jason Tatum's ring, right?
wait, let me throw this out there real quick. Not only was he finals MVP, but he was sixth in MVP voting this season.
Well, then, yes, this year, now Jason Tatum gets hurt. Everyone's talking about the Celtics, maybe a play-in team, but this is a skip year, right? We're not trying to win anything. He single-handedly puts you into finals conversation. And then Jason Tatum sits out game 7. He's on there till the last minute, giving his all, flopping a little bit, but giving his all. All right. And yet the talking point is now, oh, next year, now that fully healthy Jason Tatum, now the Celtics are back, even though they had been back the whole time because of this. So this has been going on since the beginning, right? The second they drafted Tatum a year after him, he was forgotten about. He was always the number 2. And some people are assuming that, oh, Jaylen Brown doesn't like to be the number 2. I don't think that's the case. I don't think he has a problem being number 2. I think he just wants the respect that he has earned in certain areas. I think he just wants that ring to be the Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum ring. I think he wants to be recognized as a finals MVP, as the person that kept you afloat last year. So to me, I've heard a lot of things about Celtics ownership from Boston fans, how it's terrible ownership, right? Brad Stevens is a smart guy. He was their head coach for many years. I don't think this was Brad Stevens, taking that in his own hand. I think the ownership was like, we're done dealing with this guy. We were willing to go Giannis. That trade didn't work. Find whatever way you can to get him out of here. Right now, I don't know what the other deals were. I have it hard. I can't fathom that there wasn't a better deal. Like that's
Um,
insane to me.
There was a no
there was a
Giannis was willing.
Portland deal. There was a
Well,
Portland deal.
I remember we heard that the Timberwolves had called about
Oh my
Jaylen
God,
Brown. I
hold on.
think the Hornets did
I think they were
in between
offering
the whole
Shaden Sharp and like 4 first round
Yeah,
picks.
that's
But
like
a
also,
great deal.
Boston Giannis was willing to go there. He was willing to
all
sign.
you need to do is throw in Hugo, and he's a Celtic.
Not
And we're not
even
having
that.
this conversation.
Not only that,
Wait,
but he was willing.
that was the talking point.
Well, it was that in the contract for him. He was willing to go there and
Oh,
sign an extension, but they didn't want that.
time out. You're saying Hugo was the reason they said no?
They were unwilling to. They had Jaylen Brown and 2 first-round picks. The
Right.
Heat obviously wanted, or the not the Heat, the Bucks
No,
wanted
yeah,
some younger players.
correct.
Like so, they asked for it was either Hugo Gonzalez or Baylor Stearman, their last 2 first-round picks, and they were unwilling to part with either of them. So that's
Oh,
why they went to the
this has
Heat.
got to be one of the dumbest moves I've ever seen.
Now
That makes it so much
I
worse.
don't know why they weren't willing to part with that, but part of me, I think also the fact that Jaylen Brown was eligible for a 2 year extension, right, in a matter of weeks. Like I don't think the ownership of Boston wanted to commit to 2 more years of that. So I think they were just like, look, get him out of here in whatever way we can, and we'll be over with this.
Here,
And yeah,
here's what I got for this Celtics. Giannis was reportedly on the verge of approving a trade to the Boston Celtics, but the deal collapsed over contract extension terms. He wanted a 3 year max extension at 35% of the salary cap, but the Celtics stood firm on a 2 year extension at 30%, prompting him to approve a trade to the Miami Heat instead. Source Basket News, along with 3 other sources, ESPN and others. Celtics
so
blog.
then they're just not willing to pay one of the best players in the league. So
Oh
it's
my
either way, it's
God.
stupid.
What, like, I understand they did ops, but at least you have the ops. You're gonna have a battle, right? That's just straight stupidity. I don't get it.
Well,
I would have gave him that money.
the stupider thing I've heard is they had the whole analytic reason. The analytics told them that Derek White had a better season than Jaylen Brown, that Jaylen Brown was like the seventh best player on the team. Look, I
That
love
makes no
analytics.
sense. That
That's
makes
the
no sense.
no. It's so no. Hold up now. Let me defend this. Let me defend this. That's not the full. That's not the full post. The post is analytically Jason Tatum, or sorry, not Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown is seventh best on a team, but the eye test says he is worth it. But the eye that's the full thing. That's the full
Okay,
thing. It's just
that's
analytically.
what the Celtics said.
No, that's what the person that said analytically. That's like
See,
Okay,
hold
the
on.
very same
This is
source
my
who said
issue
that.
though. Isn't that an anonymous one? Like, isn't that an
I
what did
anonymous?
believe
they? What about
I
the
believe
Derek
this is
White quote?
actually
I don't
from
have him.
I was gonna say I believe this is actually from a reputable reporter who said this out loud, but let me find it real quick. Let me
Okay,
double check.
because like my issue with anonymous stuff is like you're gonna say anything and
Yeah,
not
you
get
can
in any trouble for it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that does bother me a little bit. And also that kind of like was it like some I feel like okay, anyways. Was that like from another team so he gets devalued? You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. But like it that doesn't even make any like even analytic. I don't even understand how analytically that could make sense. That Jaylen Brown would be the seventh best player on a team. Like that doesn't even make sense to me. I get it
Yeah,
that
it was you're right. It was anonymous. One anonymous NBA analytical staffer apparently views the Boston Celtics star as the seventh best player.
I hate that stuff, bro. Like just say who you is at that point, bro. You done
Yeah, say
caused
come on and say it with your chest. It's the same thing with Tyrese Halliburton. It's the same thing with like Jalen Hurts in football.
bro.
Come on and say it with your chest. Be a man. Let me see your
Man, bro.
cojones, bro.
So yeah, the Celtics right now. You're looking at
Yeah,
Peyton
shoot.
Pritchard, Derek White, back from last year, Jason Tatum full season. At center, they just signed Mitchell Robinson. They gave Kata a big extension. And
Wait,
then Paul
wait.
George is there. They signed in Mike Conley. They've got some of those young guys. So it's like, look, you have Jason Tatum on your team. You're going to be in a spot to win. But with the way the East has been moving this offseason, right? We've talked about the Raptors just got Kawhi. The Heat just got Giannis. The Sixers just got Jaylen Brown. Like, they won 50 games last year. Part of that was because the East was not that great. They definitely were. They were a good team. I mean, I'm not denying that, but now it's going to be harder to win that many games in the East, and so yeah, we'll look more at it before the season starts once all these rosters are set. But yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time seeing where the Celtics team is going to finish because all these teams are better. Plus, you've got the Pacers on the rise again. They'll be back. You know, the Pistons were the 1 seed last year. Where do they like? There's so many factors in here where Celtics are a very historied franchise, and they've made a lot of great decisions and made a lot of great trades in the last few years. But this could be the reason that you don't get another ring in this era, and sucks for them.
Anybody else got anything to say?
If you had something, go ahead.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna say anything about this, but go ahead. I have a question we can ask later.
Um, when's the last time we've seen Jason Tatum carry a team?
Nah.
Never. He's
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
never done it.
Look. I hate the Celtics. But we gotta calm
I'm
down
not.
with
I'm not
Jason Tatum.
saying. What I'm not saying is, I'm not saying Jason Tatum isn't a great player. He is. He's a top echelon player, 100% upper echelon player. But what I'm saying is, he's had at least a Jaylen Brown the entire time. He just has. So
That's true.
I don't even think he can lead them to a chip because he doesn't have enough ammo. Like he doesn't have like he's a great player. He just doesn't have enough. And I just at the most I can see them at a 6 seed. At
I
the
don't know.
most.
I don't even think they're making the playoffs.
Like
I'm not gonna lie. They may be a
at
playing.
all.
Yeah, they may be like maybe like a playing, but like you got
Okay, hold on. Let me think.
Pistons,
Yep.
Raptors,
Mm-hmm.
I almost said Bucks, Heat,
Mm-hmm.
Sixers,
Mm-hmm.
Hawks. Who got
That's
better?
debatable. Yeah, I got you though.
I didn't even say the Knicks yet.
That yeah, there's six right there.
um, Eastern. Oh, Pacers, which are
Oh,
coming
yep,
back with
yep.
Tyrese Halliburton and Zubac. 7 seed. Ryan, anybody you can throw in to help me right quick?
You said the Hawks.
Yeah. That's
You know what?
debatable. It's
You
still
know what? You
debatable,
can
yeah.
even give me the Magic over them.
The Magic, they were
Oh,
underwhelming
Cleveland.
Oh
last
wait, yeah.
Yeah,
year. And
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
And the
Cleveland won
Magic.
50 games.
That's
The Magic
nine
were supposed to
teams.
be
That's
good
19.
last year.
Yeah.
That's nine
You got the
teams.
Hornets making noise
Oh my
too. Like
goodness,
they
they're not
Oh
making the
my
playoffs.
god. Wait, it might be GG's, bro. Hold on. Now
I that
okay. To be fair, I can see them beating the teams like the Hawks.
remember the Hawks are the only team in the entire playoffs that made that more than one game against the Knicks in that entire
But
playoff
like
series.
you kind of
second best
relying
team in
on
the
like
East.
CJ McConnell to drop more than 30 a game though.
Well, you may not have to because these other players like Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels might be taking a jump next year.
I highly doubt that, but we'll
They're
see.
young.
I highly doubt that, but we'll
That's
see.
fair.
We'll see. We'll see. I respect it though.
All right, let's
Okay.
talk about our Sixers for a little bit here.
Okay.
How this looks. So right now, as it stands, you've got Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, Wade, and Embiid as your
Okay.
starting group, right? Backup guards, you've got LeBron Philon Jr., who you just drafted. People are very
Yep.
excited about him. You just signed Anthony Simons to a 2-year contract. Justin Edwards, he's still there. He might have been a free agent. I forget. Dominic Barlow, Jabari Walker, and then center backup behind Embiid. You got Adam Bona, and you just signed Ariel Huckporty from the Knicks. So starting wise, potentially the best starting group in the East, looking at everyone healthy. Bench guard wise, really like the depth there. Forward and center wise is where I start to have a little bit of concern, especially center, because Embiid is probably missing anywhere from 30, 40, 50 games. Like he's not going to be doing back-to-backs. Maybe through the season, you're going to need guys to step into that spot. So we'll see what else they do. But as of right now, how do you feel about the Sixers and where they place in the East, Emmanuel?
I feel really great, especially with other trade rumors. We're in the top 10 for LeBron's teams right now, so we got to talk about that. And if that happens, we'll obviously slot him at the five, or not the five, the four, and have Dean Wade come off the bench, which would give the bench a little bit more depth. You would want LeBron to come off the bench? You think LeBron would come off the bench?
No. I am pushing PJ onto the bench.
You're pushing VJ?
Because I don't want LeBron playing the power forward.
I mean, that's fine.
I don't
guess.
hate it, but I still need a stretch four. LeBron's not a stretch four. He's not a consistent enough 3-point shooter to be a stretch four. Well, I still need shooting.
Like I said, we're really complaining about LeBron.
I'm about to say this.
This is the type of problems that Sixers fans have.
I'll take that problem gladly.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is the type of problems us Sixers fans have nowadays. So even if we don't VJ off the bench, that's okay. I'll take it. But then you got to put VJ at the 3, and he's got to be a small forward. So it's problems like this. Like this team is really good. I hope we go out and get another center. Trying to think, who could we possibly get for a center right quick? No, the Pistons probably don't want to give us Paul Reed back. Gershon Yabusele, I'm not even sure where he's at right now. Charles Bassey, Harrison Barnes got re-signed. Dang, there's not a lot of centers on this market anymore. We kind of missed our shot with that. Just got to see how it goes. But other than that, our team is really our team is going to be really good. I have a lot of faith in them, especially with Anthony Simons being picked up.
I mean, I'll bring Andre Drummond back.
Oh, please. Actually, that would be huge.
I've seen a lot of people
say they don't. Looney.
Kevon Looney could be a really
Looney's
a really good rebounding guard.
Pick him up.
I mean, I don't know how much money we're working with right now. So that could be.
Well, we're trying to sign LeBron.
Underneath the first apron. Well, LeBron said he'll be okay with the minute.
I really doubt that. I don't know. Something tells me like that LeBron.
Well, the fact that we're in the top 10 team for him kind of makes me think that he is okay with that.
Like, I think he's okay with it. I think he's going to He's going to prefer teams where he can still get the bag.
He's got the bag his whole career.
I agree. It's LeBron we're talking about. It's LeBron we're talking about, bro.
I think he'll take a ring over a bag any day.
Kevon Looney would probably get the vet minimum, so that would be easy to bring him on.
I kind of wanted it to. DeAndre Jordan would have been nice. I'm not gonna lie. I love DeAndre Jordan. It's like one of my favorite players. Somehow.
That would have been nice, yeah.
But
actually, that would have been nice.
But this is the problem Sixers fans have. We're worried about our bench center, our bench center because we're banking on Joel Embiid not playing. We're working about a third string center right now. That's what we worry about with.
That's
Jaylen
such
Brown
a beautiful thing. When last year we were worried about everything under the sun.
I know a good defensive forward that could slot in really well. Benjamin Simmons.
Oh, get it out!
I hate that man more than KD.
He can guard any position. No, he literally doesn't have to score a single point for you.
I want you to hear me well.
He is 6'10". He could be a serviceable forward.
I'm going to go to the ring. If we get Ben Simmons and win a chip, I would be pissed off.
I'm buying a jersey.
I'm going to be pissed off because this. See, okay, let me reframe myself. I have all respect for a person, that struggles with mental health. I understand that, man. It's a heavy struggle, right? Ben, we pray for you, bro. But you cannot go from basketball to fishing, and then all of a sudden you want to come back to the place where you sucked for like a 2-year. Okay,
a multi-time All-Star, all defensive player.
He didn't lay up the ball on Trae Young.
He gave up on us.
Matisse Thybulle didn't hit his free throws, guys.
Okay, one's basketball related, the other one's just being stupid.
But hear me out, okay? He's not that he was in a point guard position there where we needed him to be our second scorer behind Embiid. You bring him here, he literally can average 0, 10, and 10. Give me Draymond Green mentality, okay? I don't need you to even get close to the basket.
Draymond's a free agent.
Hell no.
I don't want him. I'd
rather have my foot blown off with a shotgun.
Forward Ben Simmons would fit in perfectly. Power forward.
I'm okay with it as long as we give him a vet minimum so he can't scamp out on us like he did.
Well, he would have to hit that minimum if he hasn't.
I got you. You know what we do? We give Ben Simmons for the season. Right before the playoffs start, we cut him.
No.
I need that. Bro, because
he'll prove you wrong.
If we win a chip with Ben Simmons here after he gave up
on basketball, it's all part of the process.
No.
It's all part of the process.
And I used to love Ben Simmons, but when he did that dumb stuff, bro, I can't take it no more. And now he wants to, no, he doesn't get the opportunity to come back. No, he doesn't even get the opportunity. I swear if we sign him, I'm gonna be pissed off. I'm
No
so
way.
serious. Bro,
Anything else, Ryan?
I can't take it. I can't
I had one more question that popped in my mind.
take it. Okay.
Of Maxey, VJ, and Embiid, who benefits the most from this addition?
Maxi, easily. Maxi is no longer required to run 51 minutes a game because now not only do we have a backup point guard, we have somebody else that can take off the offensive load because we've seen Maxi put his body on the line time and time again when he drives and he forces himself to play on the brink of passing out. It has to be Maxi. Now we're talking about legacy because if we win a champion or something, it's got to be Embiid. Well, it won't even be Embiid. It would be Jaylen Brown. It would be Tyrese Maxey. It would be everybody else but Embiid when it comes to legacy. Unfortunately, because it's not that Embiid wouldn't contribute a lot. It's just that Jaylen Brown came there and all of a sudden the process happened like a miracle.
Okay. I'm gonna say VJ. Not okay. Everybody you said equally gets that plus, right? But I think VJ, because that's a great learning piece to have in Jaylen Brown. Like, most times players will interact outside of the season, hoop with each other, stuff like that. Now you're getting this year round. And I think that's great for VJ. I think he's going to learn so much under Jaylen Brown. And that would be such a huge, like, I won't say he won't. I'm not going to say just because he trains with Jaylen Brown, he's going to jump significantly. Obviously, he's going to jump significantly anyways because he's VJ Esco. But I just feel like that's such a good skill set and mindset to learn behind in Jaylen Brown.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer is Maxey for Mano's reason, but I do think what Joel Embiid gets out of this is he doesn't have to have pressure on himself to come back at 100%, right? VJ was a really good number two for Maxey, and he did fill that scoring void as the second guy that can go give you 25, 30 a night. But it always felt like whenever Embiid was, close to returning again in the playoffs, it's like, look, we need you to be number two. Like, we need you to go out there and give us 25, 30 plus to win, right? And that was probably a lot of pressure on him mentally and physically to not just come back, but to come back and be one of our top scorers. Yeah. So now he can come back and he can be our fourth option. And that's going to be really good for him because he's like, look, I don't have to come back and be MVP Joel Embiid. I don't have to give you 30. I just need to be there, be available, help out in any way I can. Maybe there's some nights where, he can go out and give you 35. But there could be a night where he gives you 10 and we win because he's there and the other guys are getting the job done. So I think that's a really big plus for Embiid.
How much is Jaylen Brown drop in the first game against the Celtics?
Against 70 at least.
I have to agree.
Gotta go 82 to respect Bam.
250 for America.
Now that we got the Sixers, let me ask y'all this question. We've seen the free agency. We know it's not over yet. Looking at the East, looking at the West, which is harder?
Still the West. I would still say the West. The West
even with we're talking about the Lakers are now removed. We know LeBron's not coming back there. There's no Western teams in the conversation.
I think it's the East.
I still think. I think
that's difficult as well. I think the East is way more star-studded too.
If you look Western Conference, right, it's obviously Thunder and Spurs, right? Nuggets are always a sleeping giant with Jokic. Rockets, they were underwhelming last year. You can maybe throw them in there, but Lakers, I don't think they're taking a step back. Timberwolves have some problems, in my opinion, that they need to work out. And everyone else is not going to win you a finals. In the East, where we were having a hard time putting Jason Tatum Celtics in the top 8.
You know what? That's fair.
Pistons, Celtics, Pistons, Knicks, Cavs, Raptors, Sixers. You have a case for all of them to go on a deep run.
It was a Knicks win then for this to happen.
The West doesn't feel that scary anymore because we've seen both. We've now seen, at least for me, like the Thunder and Spurs, at least in recent bias, like don't feel as scary to me because I've seen both of them look really, really beatable.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel the exact same way, especially about the Thunder, especially about the Spurs. Oh
Both of
my
those
goodness.
teams at one point last year looked like unbeatable, and now I've seen both of them play some of their worst basketball. And
The
it's like, you know,
the two teams I for OKC, the scariest team from the East is definitely going to be I'm gonna go Raptors. Has to be the scariest team for them to go through because of their defense and Kawhi Leonard. And then
Yeah.
for the scariest team for the Spurs, obviously it has to be the New York Knicks, maybe even the
Oh
Sixers
no,
because
it's
of
the
how stretched.
Sixers 100%. It's the
Well,
Sixers. With a
well,
healthy Embiid, it's 100% the Sixers.
healthy Embiid is like saying, look at the unicorn outside. So
I mean,
you know, you know, gotta
well, okay,
gotta give it to the Knicks
with
because
a
of
70 to 80% Embiid, it's still quite clearly Raps.
we'll see. But I gotta give it to the Knicks because we have seen
Oh
exactly
yeah,
what
they
the
beat
Knicks
them.
can
Yeah,
do to the Spurs.
100%.
But those two we just talked about the championship, and those are the two teams from the East that we think they don't want to see. They don't want to see at all. Like we don't want to play them.
Yeah.
right. Well, a lot to talk about. Hopefully, there's a lot more moves this off season. Hopefully, we'll be talking about LeBron the next few weeks, potentially in Philly. No, we're gonna stop for today because there's too many things that I want to talk about. We'll be back, and then hopefully before the next season starts, we can kind of take a step back and view everything as a whole, make some predictions, all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned on our socials, putting stuff out there as always. So thank you for watching. Happy 4th. Take care.